Alright, now I want to actually try going second because I think that this is going to be a lot better going second, because the whole purpose of the deck is to pretty much break the boards of different players here. Alright, opening hand, actually this is very powerful. Reason why is because, let's say, well, we are going second, so let's say your opponent's actually trying to make their plays. Most likely you have the Ash to already disrupt their plays, which is definitely very fantastic here. So we're going to assume the fact that we already used up Ash, so that means we won't be able to use it as a material to go into our Grista. But that being said, we did disrupt the opponent using the Ash, so that will be really nice. But that being said, we have a few other cards here. We have Called by the Grave, so whatever the case happens to be, your opponent won't be able to hand trap you, and we have Shaddoll Fusion as well, so Called by the Grave will definitely stop their hand traps. So in this case, we can confidently activate Shaddoll Fusion. I'm pretty sure the opponent will have an extra deck monster. As a result, Shaddoll Fusion should be an active card in this particular scenario. Even then, we actually have El Shaddoll Fusion with Wendy and Squamata as well, which is actually meant to be our key cards for this particular purpose. But I think I'll go for them afterwards. I don't know, maybe I should go for this after. Let's see. No, I think I could go for it after. I think we don't have to go for it right away. We could go for El Shaddoll Fusion, fusing Squamata and Wendy. This will of course allow us to go into our App Cologne. App Cologne will then, I guess it would just do its thing, really. And then from there we have Squamata and Wendy, of course. And they could pretty much, pretty much put this anywhere you want, but yeah, you have Squamata and Wendy both activating their effects, so you're going to send the rest Shaddoll to the graveyard, and you're going to special summon the Aerial in defense face down. Alright, so in this particular situation, you could do quite a few things. For starters, you could use Rest Shaddoll, banish it together with the Wendy, of course, and from there you pretty much flip this up, and then this will activate, allowing you to special summon this out in face down defense, which would be a pretty nice play here. Aside from that, you could put this up into attack mode, I guess. No, it's fine, you'll keep it in defense, no big deal. But even then, you could also use the Shaddoll Fusion and go into further plays as well if you really wanted to. Of course, I'm playing as if we're already in the Master Rules format, which obviously I shouldn't be doing that, because right now we're still going by the standard formats here. So technically I would put up the extra monster zone. So yeah, that would be just slightly different in this case. However, there is one particular alternative I kind of want to do here, considering this format, because if we look at it like this, if we consider it as the Master Rules format, I would also be able to activate the Shaddoll Fusion, allowing me to send off a few monsters from the deck to the graveyard as well. So I could send off Trick Clown, and I could send off perhaps... You want to send either Dragon to destroy something, or you could even send off your Beast to draw a card as well. Whichever one you want. In this case, I'm just going to assume that we have something to destroy, so we're just going to go with the Shaddoll Dragon, and as a result, this will allow us to go for our Construct. And Shaddoll Dragon obviously will destroy something, and this also means that Trick Clown will be special summoned as well, which is definitely quite nice here. On top of that, we also obviously have Construct's effect, allowing you to send a Shaddoll monster from your deck to the graveyard. In this case, you could send the Hedgehog, allowing you to add a Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand, and by doing so, you can then add whatever you want. So if you just look at all of these here, it's quite interesting, because I believe we have not done a normal summon yet. No, we have not done a normal summon. So that is definitely very reassuring. Let's see. We have Shaddoll Beast as an option. Otherwise, we can also go for... I wouldn't mind going for Squamata, to be honest. I wouldn't mind going for Squamata. and that will be okay there. But aside from that, we also have now Trick Clown, and we also have the Aerial, and this will allow us to overlay and allow us to go for our where is it? Oh no, it's not here. This is meant to be a Beast Dweller, so yeah, I'm just gonna use a proxy right here. But yeah, with 2 level 4s, you basically can go into an Abyss Dweller. Now, this is considering we're playing the Master Rules format, meaning we're gonna have Construct, App Cologne, and we're also gonna have an Abyss Dweller as well. Very powerful board indeed for going second, dealing a bunch of damage to the opponent, but at the same time we could also just prevent so many different things as well. So definitely very good demonstration here. I think that was definitely one of our best hands in that we could possibly get with this particular build. So yeah, now let's actually give it another go. Alright, let's try one more time. Okay, this is definitely very odd. You know, we are going second, so like I said, Ash Blossom could actually be very effective in this case, stopping our opponents. We have here Shaddoll Fusion, which will be active, so you can activate that. And of course, you also have to consider this, your opponent can't really stop you because you are caught by the grave here, so a hand trap ain't gonna work. So that's definitely very nice. What's also nice is we also have Lava Golem, so if your opponent had like an Appaloosa or a Savage Dragon on the board, just use the Lava Golem and get rid of both of them, so that would be pretty nice as well. But in this case, I'm not going to go that far and assume that they'll have all that. Otherwise, Shaddoll Fusion can still be very active in this particular scenario, allowing us to pretty much go for our typical play again. And the reason why I emphasize this typical play is it is the main combo that is the most effective and makes the most use out of the whole Shaddoll engine, so you don't really want to waste it. As a result, Squamata as number 1 and also Wendy as number 2 in this case here. In this case, we can obviously go for either Construct or App Cologne. Now, the question is, do I want to actually play this as if I was playing Master Rules, or should I play this as if it's normal? Well, considering last turn we were playing it as the Master Rules ruling, in this particular scenario, I want to just play with the regular version of it. So in this case, I'm going to go for the Construct, and she'll have her own effect. But of course, Squamata and Wendy both have their own effects as well. So Wendy will allow us to special summon a Shaddoll monster from our deck. Unfortunately, we have Aerial already here, which is quite bad. What you could do is you could preset the Aerial, like so. That could be an option. I mean, it's not necessarily bad, we could still do it. So let's just say we preset this before activating Shaddoll Fusion. And then of course Wendy will do its own thing, allowing us to, firstly Squamata will send off fresh Shaddoll, and Wendy will then special summon her own, probably going to bring out Beast, because it just has the greatest effect out of all of them. So yeah, that's definitely very nice there. We could then banish off the Shaddoll as well as the Wendy. This will allow us to flip one of our cards back up again. Don't forget about Construct's effect as well. In this case, let's say your opponent had a spell or trap. In this case, I would send the Shaddoll Dragon, or if you want, you could also send, I mean, I already have Beast on the field, so there's no point to it. But you could go for Beast as if you want to actually draw an additional card, though you probably don't need to do that. I'm probably going to go for the Dragon, destroying one of my opponent's spell traps. And from there, obviously this flips Aerial. Aerial special summon back Wendy, back in face down defense, of course. We'll just leave it as is, like so. And if you guys haven't seen this so far, we also have the Pot of Avarice, which could be very beneficial in this scenario. So let's see here, can we actually go beyond this? Well, in this case, you do also have a Lava Golem to get rid of whatever opponent's monsters they have, and Construct will still be very effective. But yeah, even then if your opponent wanted to get rid of all your monsters, you would still have a Pot of Avarice ready to draw 2 more cards, and you have quite a few plays. While it doesn't seem too intimidating with what we have here, the recovery is just amazing given that it is a Shaddoll deck. Construct being destroyed allows you to add back your Shaddoll Fusion. We have Beast that will activate, we have Wendy that will activate, and we have Avarice for next turn, as well as Lava Golem. So we definitely don't have any worries here. Even then, if you didn't negate your opponent using Ash, you would still have it in hand. If your opponent didn't activate a hand trap against you, you will still have Caught by the Grave. So technically, you would still have quite a huge plus here, and ultimately it really does show you how good this deck really is and how effective it can be. But that being said, I'm going to try out one more test stand and then we'll end the video. All our test stands have been really amazing, so let's just keep this up. If we can't, it's okay, because obviously a deck must always have some kind of flaw, and if I can demonstrate that, then that'll be great. Otherwise, let's just give it another go. Okay, 6 cards, very interesting in this particular scenario. Again, we can kind of stop our opponent using the Effect Veiler, but if we didn't use it, we still could actually make plays with it. Otherwise, yeah, Effect Veiler, we could stop our opponents. That would be very nice here. So that's definitely an option. Now, over here, this is going to be a very interesting thing, so I'd rather explain to you guys what would happen. This will be more of an explanation rather than a test hand going forward, because in this case it's hard to describe. So we have Super Poly, meaning we can use our opponent's monsters. Now you have to consider what kind of monsters will your opponent be using. Now in a mirror match, you could potentially go up against an invoked variant, in which case you will have access to something like a Mecha Bar, which would be a light, allowing you to go for your construct with the Wendy, which would be quite amazing here. You could also just discard the rest Shaddoll, or you could discard your Pero as well, which would be very nice. So I'll play out the multiple possible scenarios and we'll just see how it goes. So for example, let's Super Poly, right? Your opponent can't do anything anyway. You will discard your Pero because it's going to be active in some sort of way. You'll fuse the Wendy, as well as your opponent's potential Mecha Bar or any light monster they might have, and this will allow you to go into your Shaddoll construct. By going into construct, you basically have Wendy and construct's effect going off. Wendy will then special summon well, alright, great, right there. And construct will then allow you to send a Shaddoll card from your deck to your hand, your deck to your graveyard. Now we already have Shaddoll over in our hand, but what we're going to do is I'm going to actually ditch a few extras. So we're going to ditch off Squamata, and then Squamata will allow us to also ditch off our other Shaddoll, which is right here. Great. So from here we could take Shaddoll, and we could also take Wendy, and the two of them will then banish each other, allowing us to then flip off the Aerial. Aerial will then set this, and that's pretty fantastic there. Assuming the opponent might still have a monster, we have Shaddoll Fusion. Very conditional, they must have another monster from the extra deck, but let's just assume the best possible scenario. So we'll activate the Shaddoll Fusion, allowing us to send a Beast as well as a Dragon. Oh no, actually, well, we're going with the whole Master Rules thing again. Maybe I shouldn't do that, because if I did that, that would be too good, and I don't know. I'll just go with the Master Rules, alright? I'll go with that, and then I'll reverse it back and we'll do a different play as well. So we'll go with Shaddoll Fusion, and we'll send off Shaddoll Beast and the Shaddoll Dragon, wherever it is. And Dragon will allow us to destroy a card, and we have Beast, which will allow us to eventually draw a card after that. But this will allow us to go for our Winder, and from there we already have another way to just lock out your opponent. But this will go for another big hit on the opponent. You also have the Shaddoll ready to go just right here to set as well. So definitely very nice there in this situation. However, let me now reverse everything, and hopefully I remember where everything started off. So This will go back. This was in the deck. This was in the deck. Starting hand. These cards, particularly over here, were all our starting hands. So yeah, this is how the situation was at the very beginning. So that was under the assumption that we went for a light monster that our opponent had. But Super Poly, of course, when you're taking your opponent's monsters, what if they were playing Raijin? Then you would be having access to something like a Wendigo if you really wanted to. What if you were going for maybe... Well, actually, you didn't have to go for Wendigo because you already have Wendy, so that could be interesting. Well, if they have a Raijin, you could go for Wendigo. If they have any water monster, you could go for Nautilus. Any fire monster, such as Purgatrio, then you could go for a Grista. So you have definitely a good amount of options available to you, and that definitely offers you a wide variety of choices with the Shaddoll deck itself. You could even go for the Winder if your opponent was playing a Caligar. So that's definitely very nice there. Super Poly, definitely very powerful card. And of course you have the whole Shaddoll Fusion, which it is a specific condition that your opponent will need to have a particular monster on the board, but even so, it will be very nice. I'm gonna try and reverse it as well and try and play this out as if we weren't in the Master Rules format. Just because the Master Rule formats won't come out until April, so I still want to put out some kind of demonstration towards that. So firstly, we're going to still be able to go for the polymerization, Super Poly, discarding Peripera like normal, and the Wendy. This will pretty much allow us to do our regular play, construct, and from there these will obviously send off everything. So this will special summon that. This will send off the Squamata. Squamata will then send off the Shaddolls, and from there Shaddolls and Wendy does their plays, flipping this up, special summoning this back, and so forth. But that would be the extent of our play if we were going with the whole Master Rules, the non-Master Rules format, what we're currently playing now. But you still have the option of a Shaddoll Fusion, you still have the option of a Shaddolls Incarnation, and the Effect Veiler as well, assuming you didn't use it on the opponent. But otherwise, this is definitely still a very nice hand. Like I said, it is not intimidating at all until you realize how much recovery Shaddolls can actually come back from. But that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this particular test hand video. This deck is incredibly fun, even without the whole invoked engine, which I'm not too fond of. So yeah, this is something I'll be looking forward to the most when it comes to the Master Rules format. Aside from DDDs, of course, that'll be the most fun. But yeah, for this one, it has a lot of potential, so I can't wait. The scary thing is there will be a ban list just before the Master Rules format in April. So because of that, there is potential that cards might be hit in this, but then again, it might be a little too soon for that to happen. Construct did just come off the ban list, so there wouldn't be any reason to put any cards onto the ban list. But yeah, if anything, I think the invoked cards would be put on the ban list, particularly Invocation or Alistair. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this particular test hand. Definitely let me know how you guys actually go with this deck as well. But I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.